Okay, in this video we're going to talk about how to create pivot tables. Previously we were working on creating a pivot table, and we created one with all 4 different parts of a pivot table included. Now we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of pivot tables, and we're going to start moving things around and sorting data quickly so we can really start to make some valuable calculations using what we've learned. Okay, so let's just start out with a really simple sheet and we'll quickly build it up from there. We have our sales reps in our rows, and we have our price in our values. So that's just right here in the value area. Now let's say that we wanted to know how many of each item our sales reps sold. What we would do is take our items and we'd drag it into the columns area. Resize that a little bit so it's easier to see. And now you can see that it has these same sales numbers, which is the sum of all of our individual prices, but now it has it all laid out in columns according to each item. So now it makes it easy to see that Jane sold $1,500 in rugs and $75 in small suitcases. And that could be telling because she didn't sell much of anything else, and yet she's the top salesperson. So as a manager in this store, this might make you think that it's time to start selling more rugs, or maybe to train your other reps on how to sell rugs so that they can make more money for your store as well. So that's if we drag our items into the columns. Let's get rid of that one now. Go back to our simple rows and values table, and let's take our category and put it into the columns. Now you can see which category each sales rep sells the most in. So Marcy has only sold in the bath, and Helen has only sold in kitchen, whereas Jane has only sold in living room and luggage. And then finally, let's get rid of that. Let's put our region in the columns. And now we have a solid breakdown of the 2 stores. So we can see these are all our sales at the East store, and these are all our sales at the West store. So that's pretty simple, but helpful if you're trying to break down your sales like that. Now let's do one other interesting thing. Get rid of the region again, go back to our basic table. A cool thing is that you can actually take the same field and put it into the same area twice. So I've already got the price in here. I'm going to put it in here again. And notice it gives me the same thing. However, I can change this to give me more meaningful information. So the way I do that is I click on this and I right click, and I'm going to go to Show Values As, and look at all these options for how I can represent these values. And a really good one is percentage of grand total. So I'm going to click on that and look at what we've got now. We now have the price, the total sales for each rep, and then we also have a total percentage of their sales compared to the whole. So now we can see that Jane has done almost 25% of the entire sales for these 2 stores, which is pretty remarkable. In fact, that might prompt us to want to say, well, what percentage has she sold just at her store? Because this is for 2 stores. So then we'd grab the region, put it into the filters, filter it by the West store, click OK, and now we see that Jane did 43% of the total sales in her store. So see the power of pivot tables to really bring back a lot of valuable calculations? Okay, let's keep digging here. So I'm going to take that back out of there to kind of simplify it back down. I'm going to get rid of our filter. So back to our discussion about Jane and selling these rugs. Let's say I want to know where this number comes from, $1,575. To find that out, I can double click on this and look what happens. It brings up a whole new worksheet with a whole new table just representing the calculations that went into coming up with that one number of $1,575. Now it's listing all of the sales by Jane, and it shows all of our individual sales here. So this is another good way to be able to look into where her sales are coming from and say, oh wow, she sold 5 $300 rugs and 1 suitcase. So clearly she's doing something right in the rug department. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And you can do that with any of the values that you create in a pivot table. So I can click on Bob's as well, and I'm going to get the same thing. It's going to bring up all of Bob's sales, and we can see easily all of the categories that he sold in and all of the items that he sold. So very powerful stuff. Get rid of that one too. Let's talk quickly about some formatting stuff in your pivot tables. If you want to format a cell, you actually want to format the entire field. So I'm going to highlight this entire field. If I want to change this to a currency format, I can click currency. It'll format the entire field so it makes more sense to read. And then you can also format your entire table to make it look sharp. So let's fill this out a little bit more again. I'm going to put my days back into the columns. So we have a kind of more full table, and then we're going to go into the design under pivot table tools, and you can see it gives us some formatting options. So we can add a pivot table style, and there are lots to choose from. You can see they go from kind of clean and simple all the way up to a little more rich, all the way up to kind of intense formatting. But I'll just pick something kind of clean and simple like this one. How about like that one? And that just gives a little bit of color. We can also format this row by going home and going to currency. Then of course you can see our numbers don't fit now, so we just have to double click on all the columns to size all the columns to fit. Okay, again I'm going to go back to our simpler version here. Now let's take note of one thing. Right now it says our grand total is $6,320. Let me show you what happens if we add data to our original table. So here we are back at our original table. Now let's say we just take a bunch of the entries from the bottom here and we copy them and paste them down below. We're just adding about 10 rows to our data. Now if we go back to our pivot table, you'll notice that nothing has changed here. It still says $6,320. What we have to do is go to our Analyze button and click Refresh. And now you'll notice it has updated the pivot table with the new data to $6,425. And the nice thing about that is that because we have this formatted as a table, when we inserted all those new rows, it recognizes it as part of the same table, so that when we go to this and just simply refresh it, it calls from that same table and it includes the new data. If we had this set up as a range, then we wouldn't be able to just click refresh and update this data. We'd have to click in here and we'd have to go to change data source, and we'd have to reselect our range to make sure that the new information down here was included. So that's how you refresh your data. Okay, now let me show you a great way to find typos in your data. So let's say that we have this entry and his name is spelled Bob with 2 B's on accident. First, let me go refresh my data. And you'll notice that what we have now is we have Bob and we have Bob with 2 B's. And actually, to make this even easier, I'm going to go ahead and sort A to Z. There, now it becomes very clear. We now have an extra entry in our rows, because whenever you put something into the rows area, it's going to look for each individual occurrence of a value. So even though Bob is in this spreadsheet a dozen times or more, it's only going to bring back one entry for Bob and put all the totals here. But this BOBB version of Bob is a unique entry, so it thinks it's another person. So by sorting this way, we can see that this is a typo. We can go back, we can fix it, refresh our data, and bam, it's changed back to Bob and everything is fixed. So that's a really cool way to find typos in a huge table. You can also rename your headings. So let's say I want to call this sales totals. I can just go in here, type sales totals, click OK, and now the information in our pivot table starts to make a little more sense, because that is a much clearer representation of what's being shown in the table. And then let me show you one more thing. I'm just going to delete this whole thing And I'm going to go back to our original table here, and I'm going to click in it, and I'm going to go to Insert. And remember, before we went to Insert Pivot Table, and we created a pivot table from scratch. You can also go to the Recommended Pivot Tables button, click that, and it will bring up recommendations from Excel. And this is kind of a handy way to learn about pivot tables because you can let Excel's logic sort of teach you. So, for instance, what it's come up with is a sum of price by category and region. And not all of these will be intuitive, but most of them will make a lot of sense. So what it has for our rows is our different departments or categories, and then it shows our sales by East region or East store and West store, and then it has a grand total. And if you clicked OK, then it would create this pivot table for you, and you could sort of go on to sort these totals or manipulate it to make it even more valuable to you. Let's look at the next one. Okay, this is a pretty straightforward one. It's just taking our categories and giving us a total from each category. So just by doing this, you can see that living room, probably because of all of Janet's rug sales, is our highest category. Pretty simple. So the next one is a sum of price by sales rep, and so it actually puts our regions in here into our rows, and it also puts our sales reps into our rows column, which is a nice way to divide it into region. It gives us a subtotal of both of the regions and then a total of the individual sales reps' sales. Here's another really simple one, just showing us our rows are the East and West and the sum of the sales in East and West. This one is the count of the items by category and region. So we have our different categories or store departments, and then it just tells us how many things have been sold in each of those departments. So you can see in our bath department, 26 items were sold total in both regions. And in our patio department, only 5 items were sold in both regions. And that's a really good example of the power of pivot tables to count things. And I feel like whenever you say the word count, it sounds simple because you're just basically adding things up. But the power to count in complicated ways is one of the places where pivot tables really excels. No pun intended. This one is the sum of price by day and category. So instead of putting our sales reps over here in the rows area, we have our days of the week. So you can see what things sell in different categories on what days. So for instance, you can see a lot of kitchen items are sold on Saturdays. So that sort of feedback or information might help you to understand that a kitchen promo on a Saturday would be beneficial. Or you can see that a lot of patio items were sold on Sunday. So again, that might make Sunday an important day to focus on sales for patio items. So that's how you use the recommended pivot tables chart. And again, if you click on one of these, it's just going to go ahead and automatically create it for you. It drops all of your categories and prices and days of the week into the areas where they belong and automatically creates your table for you. So that's how you create pivot tables and modify them and manipulate them to really dig into your data and do some quick analysis, and also how to do some simple formatting and sorting within your pivot tables.